Just had a brief moment where I needed to get the phone line working. And welcome. I'm very happy and excited. Same word all the time. Very excited to be with you all tonight. How are you? Oh, this is great. You guys are chatting already. I love that. So welcome to Massive Sales via social media. You will see that I had a busy day today. Behind me are lots of pieces of paper with big notes on them. It was a very productive day. I met with my mastermind partner, and I cannot recommend doing that enough. So if you've not had a chance to get a mastermind partner yet, do. So, let's start the way we start every time. Let's just close our eyes for a moment and breathe. Taking a moment to let go of everything that came before tonight, everything that will come after. And accessing our curiosity. And see where you can feel success in your body. See if you can locate it anywhere. And see if you can let that feeling grow. And any time during the day, if you're struggling or feeling like you're downtrodden, or technology is getting you, or your business is just never going to work, just let that feeling of success, wherever it is in your body, start and let it grow. Eventually, if you can grow it out from your body all the way into the room and fill the room with success, you're doing great. It's a great trick to use at networking events also, or other places that you might go. It's just a wonderful, I know people who will do all sorts of tricks before they send out an e-zine or before they post a social media post, and that's a wonderful, wonderful trick. So anyway, all right. So I think that's our chat from last night that's up there. I think it's not our chat from today. Are folks there? Feel free to type in and say hi if you are. I'd love to know who's on. And tonight we are going to start with the Content Rich Week 4. How to launch a product via social media, which is just, I love this class. Love it. Yay, folks are there. Good. So I have notes, and you are welcome to take notes as well. And I am realizing that this class is pretty dense in terms of instructions and that sort of thing. So the recordings are yours to keep. Feel free to, jot them down. You'll certainly have access to the online forum on Ning as long as it's open, which is hopefully a long time. They are upping from free to prices that start at $3.99 starting in July. I'm happy to pay that so that we are all still there together. A good thing for you to know also as you are looking at launching products. So, the information I've pulled together tonight is a variety of different people's thoughts and philosophies on how to do product launch. And if you have not experienced product launch in your own business, this is not only going to be good information in terms of how to do it via social media, but it will be a good going over of just basic product launch stuff. When I say basic, it's not going to be boring because it is not like what you would get elsewhere. However, you will find an amalgamation of a variety of different product launch information together. So, Andrea Albright, who doesn't teach product launch, is a goddess about product launch. So I just want to give a quick shout out to her. So, product launch or service launch or whatever you might want to call it, what does that mean? We have talked sales strategy, we have talked target market, and we have talked about finding out about what kind of products your target market want from you, need from you, and will buy from you. So, at this point, I'm hoping that you've started to figure out some of that information. If you are simply building your social media lists at the moment and don't have enough of your target market there, then always go back to my 3 people thing. Phone up 3 people who are your target market. And I really want to stress this diligently. Go above and beyond who you would normally think were going to be people who would purchase from you. Go to your dream clients. Go to the people that you think Absolutely, positively. Excuse me as I move my screen. Like, it's a little distracting to see that I need to send out wedding invitations, perhaps. So ignore the background. But what I would say is that it is really important to be getting interaction from people in terms of these things. Additionally, just taking a peek at a number of your social media accounts, here are some sorts of thoughts of numbers that I want to give you. Now, I will also say there was talk in the forum this week about wanting to, as a 90-day goal, get a certain number of followers. I'm not talking about that. The numbers I'm talking about are the numbers where you will start to find that people will start to friend you on Facebook, so that you're not looking for friends all of the time. Because what starts to happen is, if you've chosen 30 of their friends, and target markets very often will, what's the word I want to say, magnetizes like. So a lot of times if 30 people are their friends, then that you share with them, then they will choose to friend you, and you will start to see that really social media becomes simply maintaining, accepting the connections that are coming from the target market you searched for at the beginning, which is a wonderful, wonderful place to be. So, not to stress you out, and please don't misquote me and say, Lindsay said you have to have this many people, but here's a thought. I would suggest all of you get over 1,000 friends ASAP. 2,000 is a good number, because then things start to be generative for you. On Twitter, 2,000 is the threshold where they will cut you off if you don't have enough people following you back. Get to that number, and then we can talk about other things, like, for instance, here is another website that if you have maxed out at 2,000 people you're following on Twitter, and they will not let you add any more people, then you want to go to friendorfollow.com, I believe is the correct link, and I'll just double check that quickly. Enter your account, and they will let you know of the people that you are following who's not following you back. Twitter is fluid. You don't always have to be, I can follow my best friend today and tomorrow not follow her. So don't consider that it's work that hasn't been getting things for you. But if you're stuck at 2,000, it's very much like the friend limit on Facebook at 5,000. You're just sort of like, what do I do? If you're stuck at 2,000 and they won't let you add more people to follow, it's because you need to get more followers. So shake it up, get that done. You certainly don't want to be stagnant. And then, of course, on LinkedIn, it's based on your emails. You run through your email account how many connections you can have. The great thing is that on LinkedIn, at 500, they stop tallying. They just say it's basically maxed out. So you could have 501 or you could have 5 million, and there's no way that anyone can actually figure that out. So, 500 is an ultimate goal. I wouldn't stress about your numbers on LinkedIn as much at the moment, unless that's specifically where you found is your sweet spot of social marketing. So, and social media. Those are some numbers that I want to give you. So let's talk about product launch. So, assuming you've talked to your people, you've talked to your target market, you've made friends on Facebook with people who are in a similar sort of pain, this is what we want to do. Here's some basic keys that you'll hear me talking about all the time. But buzz, you want buzz generated. So for instance, today I put up on the Massive Sales Via Social Media page that I've just been experimenting with to see if it gets traction. There are not a lot of people on it. But I thought, there's so many things I want to talk about all of the time that if they're specific to the class, perhaps I can put them there, and then that gives me another place to be talking about things. It gives you all a place to be communal. And it's never bad to have, here's a product and here are all the people who love it. So I put up a post last night about Julia's question during the Q&A and how good it was. And then Julia wrote something awesome back about it. And when I looked at it afterwards, I thought, you know what? And this is perfect. If there's someone who were thinking of joining the class, this is exactly the kind of interaction they want to see. This is the social proof, and social proof is a word I bandy about a bit, so I will say also in terms of social proof, just to give it some sort of definition, social proof is like if you go to my page, I'm using all examples from me today. I apologize. I've been masterminding most of the day, so I haven't been watching everyone else. If you go to Kay Moat's page, And you see the really interesting posts she has been putting up about on Slender Threads. Come to my garden, visit Slender Threads. Freaking brilliant way to convert people over who are looking at your page. I've never seen anything as brilliant, Kay, in terms of getting people, if they're on your page, to get you to a like page. Love it. And all sorts of people are commenting on those things and saying, oh, how lovely, that's so nice, it's so wonderful. So when I go to her page, I see all of those people who are being social with her and proving that she is groovy cool. And so that's what we want to talk about in terms of social proof. So, create buzz is the first key in terms of our product launch. And I'm going to break it down into a few different things so that we can really sort of systematize it. So where do you start? We've mentioned before surveymonkey.com, and I'll put that back up here again. And you know, I was just also reading about someone today who did a $27,000 launch, and she wasn't selling $27,000 products. I don't know how inexpensive they were, but she didn't have an email list even at the time. And her first launch using some of these strategies was $27,000. So if you don't have an email list to send to SurveyMonkey, poll to, don't worry about it. Ask the people that you're connected with in social media. And every day, I mean, here's the thing to think about. If your numbers are small, you absolutely want to get them larger just because it is so incredibly easy. It is so easy. It's a building process that you're not going to have to keep doing forever. But even if you just dedicate an hour to it every day for the next week, you'll be amazed at how much traction you get. So, great questions to ask so that you can really start to see what people need. And you would do this if you were like, okay, so I've just made it through my 90-day goal. It was awesome. What am I going to sell next? Great questions would be things like, what is your biggest obstacle? What is your biggest problem regarding, and then whatever your niche is there. So I could ask, what's your biggest question about social media? Also, another great question to ask is, if you could ask me anything about social media, what would it be? Those are questions that invite engagement, and you can send that out in SurveyMonkey. You can call anyone you think is your target market. I mean, you can, I'm going back to it, but Pamela's example of just going into a place, asking someone to try her pillow is so freaking brilliant, because you could basically like go to a store where your target market is. Go to Whole Foods. If the people that buy your stuff eat at Whole Foods, go to Whole Foods, particularly if you're in California. I don't know in New York if you'd have the same feedback. But go to like a knitting group. Go to, like bingo night. Go to anything that has your target market. It just needs to be your target market. Start to make conversation with people. Like, what's their biggest concern about baby safety? What's their biggest concern about environmental packaging? What's their biggest concern about their sexuality? I mean, those are your target market, and you want to ask those questions. I love, there's a teacher who says, you build the plane, and I've misquoted this and mangled it a couple of times, but you do not want to spend a year or 6 months developing a product, developing the marketing for it, and having no idea and no feedback from folks about whether it's something they actually want or not. It is a freaking waste of time. It is heartbreaking, and it is you not connecting with the people who need you. So you go to the people who need you and say, like, how can I be of service? And people will tell you, especially sitting in social media. Like, if I ask you all right now, so what's the thing that I could give you that would be most valuable in terms of social media? I'm sure that you all can think of answers. You're absolutely welcome to type it up on the screen if you want to. It's fabulous information for me. And that's what we want you all to start doing. So once you've done that, then you can start to narrow things down a little bit. And here's an important key. A lot of times people, I mean, this is even wild sometimes. Honestly, I was a love coach for a while. It worked. I'm getting married. I have some people who I still do love coaching with. I'm really effective at it, honestly. Like, in 5 weeks, I've been able to find people's soulmates. I mean, it's a bizarrely, like, it just worked. I'm fascinated with patterns. I watched the pattern of how I did it, and then took the training and am able to teach the patterns to other people. or I don't teach the patterns, but I'm able to do what's necessary so that they start to have those patterns happen in their life, and I can go ding, 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 here comes their soulmate. I didn't have as strong of a response from folks as I do as someone who's teaching social media. It's sort of bizarre to me. It also totally makes sense to me. So your target market may say to you, oh, we don't need, your who's in a what's it that you're making. You're actually brilliant at organizing, and like the world needs you to organize this. Or we adore your product and what you're doing, except it would be better if it were geared to serve preteen girls. The people who need you are your best resource in terms of what you're meant to be giving to the world. So you really want to be in that conversation with them, and you want to be in that conversation all the time. And I'll just say also about doing Ustream shows, because I know that was the assignment for this week, to get those up and going, and I see some of you doing that, and I love it. The feedback you will get during Ustream, especially if you do some sort of Q&A, you all taught me so much about my target market when I was doing some of these free classes before this started. Seriously. And the content I'm delivering is based on the feedback that you all gave me. It asked me to grow. It asked me to be visible in certain ways that I wasn't necessarily comfortable being busy before. It's made my life so much better. I'm so grateful to you all. So just like any other relationship, like you wouldn't just decide, this is what my best friend and I are doing this afternoon, or this is where my husband and I are going on vacation. I mean, you wouldn't live your life making all the decisions for someone else. It's the same thing with your target market and the folks who need you. So get out there, ask those questions, get answers to those questions before you pass go. And if you say, well, no one responds via social media, put it up in the forum here, ask people in the grocery store, call your friends and say, do you know anyone who needs beautifully knit mantles? Do you know anyone who it would make their life special? Like Kay, the bridal market, you should be talking to them like crazy. It gets cold at all weddings. I'm spending all my time looking online for some sort of little jacket to wear. If it's an outdoor wedding, there's always a shawl. It's always important. And to do that for someone's special day, you could like use thread from their mother or something. Like there are just a million things. So anyway, then we go into what we call pre-launch, which is actually hugely fun. It is something that looks like it is not a launch at all, and that's exactly what we want to be doing. You are interacting with your target market, you're warming them up, you're setting them up to buy. In the same way that you don't just walk up to someone and say, want to move in? You exchange numbers first, you call and talk on the phone, you go on a date. That date doesn't go very well, you go ahead and ask if you can do a second date. That date goes great. 6 months later, you decide to move in together. You don't walk up with the expectation that it's going to work. It's the same thing as if you were going to buy a car and had done no research. Having the expectation that the first car lot you walk on and the first car you get in is going to be the one, like you just planned 5 minutes for it and you've done no research, it's not going to happen. So here's what pre-launch looks like. This economy, as some people would say, and I don't know that I classify it that distinctly, but we are all about, I love Angela Gia Kim in Savor the Success. She says it's a give, get, and that is very, very true. Anything that you read about the patterns that are going on in society right now, what you want to do is offer people information. It feels really good to do it also. My first class, and what's interesting is I had not really looked at launch strategy stuff lately. You sort of teach the things that you need to learn, and I do I was like, I'm good at this, and then I was like, I'm delivering a class on it, I really need to brush up and everything, and I was like, this is fascinating. So you'll see some pieces that they're sort of just the way of being with me, but the first teleclass that I did with you all, I delivered content. I didn't sit there and say, here's one little sentence about what the class will be about. I covered an entire point, and I gave full content. And don't you want to experience that? It's like the difference between being able to test drive a car, or now you can use a car for 60 days and return it if you don't like it. It's just a symbol of what's working in the world these days. So you want to give away content. This is a great tip for your Ustream show, which is exactly where we are. You can do a few things to get this done. First of all, of course, on your website, you need to have an opt-in box where people can opt in, and then you give them some free report. The 5 mistakes children make with their small babies. The 5 mistakes people make when buying maternity clothes. The 1 single you need to know to change your sexuality tonight. Anything that creates urgency you want to be doing. And you can just as easily, I mean, it is, honestly, I'm just going to be really transparent here. Getting people from your social media to your website sometimes can be a really tricky challenge. So why not just put your freaking link right there that gets them to sign in on your website? Additionally, if you don't have a website yet, or if you're not using it a lot, you can also set up Facebook events that say, if you would like to receive the 5 best secrets about motherhood, RSVP here. And then you get to see everyone who's responded, and you can send them all the 5 best secrets about motherhood. You've gotten them engaged, and if they've been talking about motherhood's what they want to know about, you're filling their need. This is about service. It's not about sales. It's about you doing what you came here to do and are meant to be doing. So that's key. Additionally, after you start to do some of that, because people really, it's like most of us when we're sane, we have one phone call with the person that we're contemplating dating before we go on a date or a weekend away. You make small investments a little bit at a time. You love the car, you test drive it for a little bit, you really enjoy it, so then you say to the salesperson, okay, maybe I'll take it out for the 60 days. I have no idea how that program is working, by the way, so it may be totally not working. But I've seen their competitors say, you don't need our car for 60 days, but we'll do it for you. So it's making an impact. It's absolutely making an impact in the car world, at least the car advertising world. So then once folks have sampled a little bit, then you want to do a Ustream. And yes, we've just jumped into Ustream, and yes, that's absolutely fine as well. At the end of your Ustream, you can say to them, and if you want the 5 best tips on blah, 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 email me at XYZ. And then you can use them on your email list, which a lot of people, and there's a lot of statistics about the numbers of, opt-ins, click-throughs, all of that sort of thing. And people predict their sales very often from their email lists. I will say, though, also, I was listening to a really interesting piece of tape from someone the other day, and they were talking about people aren't opening emails. And I will say, I do sales for entrepreneurs also. People sometimes hire me to actually do their sales. People are not reading emails. Like, you send out 400 emails and maybe 1 person reads it. It's extraordinarily disheartening. You put it on your Facebook page, you get 20 people who are engaged there and talking about it and thinking about it. That's awesome. So you do a free Ustream. And what I would say, and this is bold, and it really tends to work, and you've got to think about this in a way like a marathon. Because absolutely, I could just say, you know what, I'm selling palm trees. I'm going to sell this lamp today. Buy this lamp, da-da-da. It's probably not going to, it's the same thing like the car. Like, you've got no chance to warm up to it. If you don't know who I am and you've not experienced me, it's going to be really weird. So, do a Ustream and don't sell them anything. Revolutionary. The other thing you want to think about during this process is how you're languaging and positioning this. And these are the things I would say. Really say to people, I'm contemplating doing my next product or service. What do you need from me? Or what would you want from me? I think open-ended is a great way to go at the beginning. Yeah, you're going to get some screwball answers that have nothing to do with anything. But also you will find that there are some people who will, if it's one person who tells you the thing that's going to make you $15,000 in the next 3 weeks, do you care if people wrote goofball things? That's what people don't understand about social media. Someone who has like a massive marketing brilliant mind may be sitting at their computer and may go, oh, you should do this. And to hire them could have cost $30,000 for you to get consulting for your business, and you'll have exactly the right thing. So you want to keep in conversation and relationship with folks and say, love the feedback, so interesting. Why do you think this? Or I wasn't sure about that. Why do you think that? And I think it's also really great to be transparent and be like, wow, I really don't feel like selling palm trees. What made you think of me for palm trees? People will see things about you you cannot see yourself. Once you've started to have the dialogue, and once you're doing the Ustream show, I would say at that point, say, you know what, I'm contemplating. I've been getting feedback later that people would be interested in me leading a seminar on baby safety. I am curious about possibly doing a boot camp for women where we could all exercise together. I'm getting a lot of local people who are thinking about doing that. You can set it up to just tease the product a little bit. It's the same thing as someone who dates well and says, yes, you can have my number. I need to go meet friends right now, though. I was never good at that, but then I got coached and things changed dramatically. But it's not, none of this is truly about playing games. But you just want to allow people to warm up and allow them to be interactive in the process. You've got to get an agreement from people. They have to be agreeing to purchase from you. And it doesn't just come from like out of the blue and sending an email. It may have in the past when that was the current cool thing to do, but it is not happening in the same way it used to. So after you do that, you also really want to make sure that you've got some proof that what you're doing works. This is where testimonials come in. We talked about testimonials on the Q&A last night. You want to watch that. I offered a free half-hour session to anybody who sends me a testimonial that meets the guidelines I gave last night, because it's the great way to do testimonials. And that is available through the end of June when this class is over. So you need to get proof from people. Now you may be saying, I don't have anyone who's used my product yet. I don't know anyone who would give me a testimonial. Get out there and get your product to more people. Carry a flip cam with you. Get them to try on your product on the street. Ask them what they think about it and how they feel about it. Those are fine. Those are testimonials. Those are testimonials. When I've been thinking about being brave, I'm like, when I'm waiting at the airport, I should have my flip cam and I should just get people to like say great things about social media heaven. Now those aren't real testimonials, but they'd be funny. They'd get me some traction. They're social media. I bet people would pay attention to me, come to my class, and buy my stuff based on that. I got Peter Shankman, who's like the head of HARO, Help a Reporter Out, on a Ustream call to say social media heaven rocks. That's a brilliant clip to use for something. And it's funny, and it's not, like Peter Shankman has never used my services. He doesn't have any idea, but he sort of slammed me during the show, so... No, he just talked about an old networking group that I'd applied to be in the moment he was on the show, because I was doing my research on Peter Shankman. So I got him back and had him say something great about me on tape. So testimonials, do not tell me you can't get a testimonial. Don't tell me, send me your product. I'll give you a raving testimonial. So, assuming that it's good. I mean, I'm not going to fake testimonials, but I believe in all of you, so I think that, that's an obvious one. So then the other thing you want to do, and I would say in between these things, if you really want to plan a launch that's really going to work, it's great to give some time. So in between each of these things, if you take a week, your Ustream class comes out, and then you send something to them about the proof that you've gotten about people who have loved stuff. Send them individual emails that are video on Facebook. That would be brilliant. If that's way too time consuming for you and you've got a huge email list, send them something that has videos of people who are saying what great stuff you're doing. There are, do a word cloud of all the words that people use about you. Send that out. There's just 5 million different things that you can do. So then a couple days before you plan your actual launch, some folks feel like you should send out a sample then. So it's like if you're doing a recipe book, send out a recipe. For me on the Ustream call where I talked the entire hour about one of the points that was during this class, that absolutely was content, counted as a sample. You really want to give, it is just customary at this point in time to be transparent and give content. I know amazing entrepreneurs who give everything away. There is nothing you cannot find about the things they know that is not online somewhere. And it is their philosophy to absolutely give it all away. People will still come to them for coaching, to integrate the information and do other things. I don't know that I feel like you want to give everything away. Particularly if you have product, it's going to be hard to constantly send out, free products to everyone. But I do think, it's like for Kay with your mantles, what if you had just a piece of string with some wonderful beading, or flowers in your photo today were so beautiful? What if you just had a little envelope that you dropped in the mail for people? Do you all understand that, like, no one gets mail? And if I got mail with something inside of it that had something that I could touch that was about your product, I'd be like, oh my gosh. So, give a sample away. Baby Med Basics, say it's a limited time. For the next 6 hours, everyone gets my free iPhone app. Do you know how much attention you're going to create? And then do you know how excited the people are going to be to hear from you and to participate with you? The next time you send out a Facebook invite, they're going to be like, I am in love with you. Of course I would do it. It's fabulous. This has nothing to do with anything, but I keep thinking of it, so I'm just going to say it. Somebody did something freaking brilliant today. It's one of your classmates and someone else. I have a client who's a shower planner for bridal showers and baby showers, and they said, can we throw you a virtual shower? And for me, I'm like, that is so smart, because everyone I know will pay attention to that. That's like so buzzworthy. That's so freaking cool. Like, of course I'm going to invite my 5,000 friends, my 2,000, I'm going to tell all my clients. Like, somebody else then today said to me, my mastermind partner was like, we should have all our friends over. We can do it on my huge patio, and we can decorate, and like, it could be this huge, massive event. The cost for people to do this is like, nothing. They had talked about sending me a cake, which I think is really cool. So I'll say that that's like, yeah, there's a little bit of cost involved in a cake. But this is how you get generative in social media. This is how you get people psyched about your launch. This is how you get people thinking you're cool, getting you buzzworthy. And I gotta say, collaboration is key. I don't care if each of you decide with your mastermind partner to do a Ustream event. That's fine. Invite all of each other's friends. Be there for support. It's scary doing it alone sometimes. I get it. So don't do it alone. If that's your block, stop it. Go around that block. You don't have to necessarily get through like, I'm terrified of being on camera. Ask your 6-year-old to be on camera with you if you sell anything. I don't care. I would totally watch any of you be on a show with your 6-year-old. I would find it hilariously charming and wonderful. So, if you're selling something that's like about don't have children, I would not watch it or want to see it. But anything else, I'd be all right with that. There are plenty of people in the world who want to be on camera. It's a little glib, but I'm not kidding. Get out there. And it's that bad press is not bad press kind of thing. So, sending out the sample. You could send out a sample of something so that then they're like, wow, she's so cool. She has like a lot of stuff. It's sort of, not that drug dealing would be the thing to do, but it's sort of that same philosophy of like, somebody said it's like, share one Dorito out of your bag with them. And then they'll be like, oh my gosh, I love Doritos. And you'll be like, I have a whole bag. And then they're hooked. I cannot believe it, but my phone is getting ready to die again, and I don't want to screw up the phone recording. So I'm going to put it on pause for a minute. And while I'm gone, want people to put up on the screen when they're doing their Ustream shows. I'll be right back. Yay! Okay, no one. I have to tell you all that this is what I do. Anytime I walk away, I think it's so gross and unprofessional that in my mind I come up with a prize to give to whoever follows what I've suggested. And I don't think I have. No, I don't have it set on slow. You can set Ustream on slow so that you all can't talk fast. That's not what's happening. So I just want to let you know that now someone did not win something that I was going to give away to whoever put their Ustream show up there next. Too late, Chantal. I love it, and it's not. Look, everybody now. So we should wish my phone dies sometimes. I'm kidding, and I apologize to the people listening to the phone recording. Okay, so then you are ready to launch. You figured out what people want. You are excited, they are excited about the fact that you've actually listened to what they want. I will tell you that anyone you've done an informational interview with, anyone that you've gotten feedback from, and they're like, I desperately need abundance coaching, and then you say, I'll do abundance coaching. Oh my gosh, they feel so met and so happy. And I will tell you, even if they don't buy from you, they will sing your praises left and right. Anyone who's like, this is amazing, you're a rock star on your page, the other thing you want to do is say to them, I am so excited that you feel that way. Feel free to post it on your page also. People don't understand that they can do that to support you. And that is like a huge way for all of us to get attention. Social proof and buzz, all of these things we're talking about. So when you do your launch, I would suggest doing launch via Ustream rather than via something like a newsletter, unless you've got just a massive list that keeps responding. I think it's very, 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 very good idea. So you want to plan all of your stuff into the back end, you know, like have a place where they can buy it, blah, 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 blah. What you also want to do, though, is really, and this is what's key in terms of when we've talked about creating Facebook events, etc. You want to make things time limited. You want to reward people who act fast. And you just want to keep making it better and better. So even set up your event. If you've already set up your event for Ustream, that's awesome. Go in there, update the event, because when you update the event, it sends a message to everyone who has RSVP'd, and put in something like, great news. Oh my gosh, I have such a huge surprise for you all. Now, when I did my first class here, I gave away free classes. I'd seen somebody else do it. It worked. I just thought it was so cool. So I was like, why not give away free classes? So I said there were going to be free prizes. I don't know if that's why anyone came to the show or not, but it builds a lot of excitement. It totally made me excited. And when you raise your level of energy about things, that's going to come right back to you. Don't we all know that? So what you want to do is tell people, for instance, whoever is on the line live has a chance to win blah, 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 or can have free coaching, or you will promote them on your Ustream show. You know, like, ask people. This is a brilliant thing that I think we should all be doing. Everyone who's on here who has any visible product, who's doing a Ustream show, should ask, wait, I said that wrong. Anyone who has a visible product, with all these people doing Ustream shows, you should ask them, can I lend you one of my products to wear during your show? Like, good God, who wouldn't want to? They're happy to. It's like, especially if somebody's going to dress you or make you look better on TV. Absolutely. So it's like if somebody had said to me, I've got earrings, you want to wear them for your Ustream class today? I'd be like, earrings would have really helped my outfit. Of course I would. And then at some point when I'm seeing myself in the camera, or just out of courtesy, I'll remind people about the earrings. How cool is that? It's like product placement. So anyway, when you do the launch, fast action bonuses tend to be pretty popular right now. You'll be like, okay, and for the first 6 people who buy this, you also get blah, blah, blah. And it can be something that someone else contributes. If you know someone who's just starting up a company, there are a slew of people I know in the Los Angeles area who are female entrepreneurs that are just rubbing each other's backs by doing this. I'll give away 6 free coaching sessions for yours. You give away 6 free whatever for me. And then what's brilliant about that is that it gets people exposed to each other's target markets, and you're supporting one another in ways to make sales. So, or the first 6 people get a gift certificate for whatever. You know, it's like I could offer $25 gift certificates to people, to everyone on the call. That wouldn't work though. Everyone, because fast action bonus, you want to make it time limited. So by midnight tonight, anyone who signs up gets a $25 gift certificate with me. There's nothing you can buy from me for $25, unfortunately, at the moment. But that would generate more business for me. It's a fast action bonus. So what I'm saying is that you don't need to think limited. Like if you think, well, I don't know anybody who's going to offer a fast action bonus. That's okay. Offer one of your own. Offer a free half hour of coaching. Offer, you know, like you want to start to create content. It is important. And it's also something that will get you retweeted. And it's also something that will get people interested in what you're doing in Facebook, etc. So even, you know, like start a blog, start chat, like just journal about stuff from your business to decompress at the end of the day. And then that can be turned into like my 3 biggest secrets about starting my online class, my, whatever it is that hits your target market. My 5 favorite foods at Whole Foods, like whatever it is that gets your target market going. You want to be reaching out. You want to be giving to them. You want to be interacting. Social media is not about sitting back and waiting for people to come to you. It just is not the way that it's productive. So, another bonus that I love is that somebody, they're like, Andrea Albright said this, increase your coolness by what you want to do is right before you actually start your class, say to people, and you know what? Everyone who signs up gets a free, whatever my next class is, you get it for free. Like, how cool is that? That totally keys up your cool factor and gets people interested. And it's a wonderful way, besides the beginning fast action bonus that's going to end pretty quickly. It's a wonderful way to wrap up sales also. So those are some of the ways that you want to think about doing a product launch via social media. A couple of other factors that I will cover with you is that, so you've launched your product, you've had your class, you've told people about it, you've given them fast action bonuses. It's great to give people payment plans in this economy. Sometimes it's just easier for people to be able to pay over time. A lot of times people charge more money for a longer payment over time. I did not do that for this class. Just wasn't what I wanted to do, quite frankly, because I wanted to keep it under the $500 mark. And I felt like an investment just psychologically for people would be like, ooh, I don't want to pay $600 over, like 3 $200 payments. So it just didn't feel right for me. But here are other things you want to think about also. A lot of times people will launch and that's it. They're done. After a launch, here are some key things. People can still join you in your classes. People can still, Zazzle did an extension of their Memorial Day sale by 1 day. I don't know if it's 'cause sales were low or if they'd had that planned from the beginning. Please know that all of that is stuff that really smart people have really already figured out. So you want to figure out a post-launch thing as well. After you've said, here's my class, here's my coaching, or here's my rubber duck that I'm selling. After people will do like a lower price until da-da-da, an early bird special, da-da-da. What you don't want to do is drop the ball after something has been launched. If you've had a particularly successful product or service launch, you can absolutely repeat it again. People may still need exactly what you had gotten. For instance, I've loved teaching this class. If this class goes brilliantly well, part of me thinks I'll do an advanced class. Part of me thinks, oh my gosh, there's so many people who've written me who've said, oh, I wish I'd known about your class prior to it starting. I would have loved to have been in it. Well, I could do this class again. If that's what people need, there's no reason that it can't be repeated. Let me think for a moment. If you've done a product and you've been like, here's my brand new product, only 10 are available, and you sell those, you absolutely can come out and say, you know what? People loved these so much, I've made 10 more. It's absolutely fine. It's absolutely transparent. It's absolutely plausible. It's absolutely a way to increase your business. So, you don't want to drop the ball after you've launched. It's key. It's key. It's key. It's key. You really want to have things planned for once you've started. I know a company that for the first 3 classes of an 8-week class, they would still keep promoting. And they'd send emails all the time. There's still time to join, still time to join, still time to join, still time to join. So you really want to have all of this planned out in advance. Launches can be a little daunting, a little difficult, particularly if it's your first time to have done something like this. And besides doing the Ustream show, etc., you need to really keep people informed about what's going on for you. So, here's my great class. 5 people signed up last night. I can't believe it. I mean, be authentic. I think it's gross when people are like, I'm a rock star. 29 people signed up in the first 5 minutes for my class yesterday. Like, I don't think that that makes anybody want to work with them. So it's a brilliant time to say, oh my gosh, I launched this new product last night and 10 people bought it. I am so amazed. Tara, with your iPhone app, like, I'd be out there, I'd be like, 76 people bought this, because here's the thing, that like a slew of people, especially as you're getting new friends consistently, aren't going to know about your iPhone app. You don't get a new friend and read all the way down their page and see what they've been up to for the past month. You just start with where you start. So you need to keep people informed about what you're doing. Keep giving them opportunities to be served by you. Keep giving them the chance to purchase from you. And also, if you don't get any nibbles, if there's nothing going on, this is what's really important. It means something's not working. And it could be a variety of things. And I am always available for extra coaching. I started a special for an hour for 99 bucks. My prices are going to go up soon. And so I thought, what the heck? I keep getting people who are like, can you please spend an hour with me and tell me what's happening in my Facebook account? And so I'm like, people let me know that that's what they needed from me. It's not a package I ever even thought of offering. I love spending an hour looking at somebody's Facebook account and figuring out why they're not getting sales. There's almost nothing I would rather do. I totally enjoy it. So if you all are going through a launch and it's not working, I would honestly say something that's important to know is, I don't think it's about just quitting. I don't think you go, oh, no one responded to my questions about what I'm doing, so I'm not even going to launch. But I do think, like, if you're to the point where you launched and you offered everything and you gave fast action bonuses and no one responded, it's an important time to rework and look at what's cooking. And very often, and this is why it's good to have mastermind partners as well, a lot of times we can't see for ourselves. And here's the other thing, everybody's had a launch that hasn't worked. Really, I mean, I'm sure there are some people who haven't, but I think it's because they've probably been coached by people who'd had brilliant launches and they showed them exactly what to do. But it's a necessary blend of just keep taking the actions. But what I will say is, if you don't have the appropriate number of friends, followers, connections, etc. in social media, it's going to be hard. It's just going to be difficult. You need to be generating those connections in the way that we've talked about target market. While you're doing that, continue to move forward with doing this launch. Learning the practice of this is going to be key, because though it changes and the philosophy of things will change, certainly it's going to be the same basic process over and over. You are going to learn so much about yourself, and by being interactive with your client base, it will blow your mind when you do your first Ustream how much people love you. It will blow your mind. Everyone's afraid of doing it. It's something that everyone could be doing. There aren't a lot of people who are doing it, and the people who've done it, I know, have had a fabulous time on it, have totally enjoyed it, are completely creating content. You do your class, that's your free report. Do you want to listen to an hour of my best tips about bacon? Or I need to come up with better ideas. I apologize. Let me think. What's something that I told a client to do recently? Do you want to listen to an hour about how your life can be more full of play? Are you bored? Are you stuck? Are you miserable? Here's a way. And you can even highlight clips and that sort of thing on Ustream. So it's just key to start to develop what content will give you, and it's also going to give you results, which is really, 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 really crucial. So I would suggest, if you're still afraid of this assignment and or any of the other ones, get on the forum, start talking about it. It's a really safe place to be. It is not a place where anyone is able to come except for the people who are in this class. It is not public to anyone. It will never be public to anyone. I think that if you, I know I said stay positive on there, but I also think that if you, this is always what happens. I was helping someone who's working on winning a contest that I think I mentioned yesterday. And I was like, you're in second place. Like, being the underdog is a really wonderful place to be, because so many people respond to that. If you're just authentic, I mean, if it's going great for you, put that on the forum. I can't wait for my first Ustream show. I am so excited. I am thrilled. I can't wait to launch. I'm so happy. I feel like my whole life I've waited for this moment. Just from that transparency, you're also going to get people who are really engaged and interacting with you. So I see Shauna asking if you can do a 30-minute Ustream. Shauna, the problem with a 30-minute Ustream is this. People are going to be late, people are going to forget about it, and people are going to want to leave early. So the amount of people that you're going to catch is going to be minuscule. I would suggest, if you can, to do an hour. If you can't, don't worry about it. Don't spend your time like being upset about like changing your event invite. If you're at a half hour and it's pumping and people are excited and they're talking on the chat and you want to switch over and go to a Q&A at that point, go for it. People love extras. Over deliver. I gave you 2 bonus calls for the class. I love being in classes where they give me more than what I thought I was getting. An hour scares you. I completely understand. Then you definitely need to do an hour. And I know I'm not supposed to answer questions during this. But absolutely, you can work it out. So, I mean, here's the other thing, and here's a basic format I'll give you all for the Ustream that I think works really well. You want to share your pain first. Especially if you are your own target market, but a few years back, you want to talk about, not so you're sobbing in the fetal position, but what was hard for you. And then you want to share about the transformation. I could never find good maternity clothes. I hated all the maternity clothes that were available. It drove me crazy. I had a child. I decided I wanted to build a business for myself. I really saw a huge opportunity in maternity clothes, and I felt really not happy in any of them that I wore, so I decided to build this company and support my child. I have chills. Fabulous story. So you start with that kind of story. Then what you're going to want to do, and you really need to remember what's important, is to be interactive. I wouldn't spend your whole Ustream time looking at the comments because I find it very distracting. I think that it's a little weird, like if people have signed up for your class and you're just reading the whole time. I think that's not where you want to go. But you'll have basic points that you want to cover. At the middle point, you can say, you know, in my invite, I said to you I'd give you some more information on how you could learn more than what I've shown you this evening. Here's the website. Go to that website with me. I'll show you the links if you're actually selling during that call. If not, open it up for Q&A. Just be very clear that you are going to do Q&A that is specific to the pain that you're solving for people. So for instance, but you know, I'll tell you another one. I was with a client and they did a Ustream show and they did a Q&A and they thought they were going to talk about one particular thing. All of the Q&A ended up being something entirely different. That was really good for her to know in terms of the product she was creating. Really good to know. So, I mean, the other thing to know is, like, if you have a basic launch strategy that you love already and being a little bit experimental with all of this is the thing that freaks you out, use your basic launch strategy also. I love it. People are now talking about it. I think it's good. I think it's good. I'm just going to take a look. I'm breaking my own rules at this point. People are talking about blinking too much. I love it. People are afraid of being transparent. Absolutely. I mean, tape something of yourself talking and then send it to your mastermind partner and let them tell you if they think you look awful. We're solid business people that are here. We have big things cooking. We're not going to tell other people like you look great and then let them go up there and sink or swim. Am I right? No. Somebody should have told me to wear earrings tonight. But I think it's just not going to be that bad. People love Ustream. It's a great way to interact with people. And you know what also? It's that same thing with the cash register. When they first came out, I'm sure some people, it's like computers. When computers first came out, plenty of people did not want to use computers. You get past your fear of it and you do it, generally, you know? And if not, you can do something else. You can use this launch strategy via social media in an entirely different way. If video is way too freaking scary, don't spend all your time sitting around and being scared about video. Hire someone to do your Ustream for you. That would be odd, but that would not be unheard of. I love it. I think that's a great idea. I should hire someone to, you know, especially if you've helped somebody, Those people will talk so highly of you in a way you won't even talk about yourself. You can always call someone on the phone, put it on speakerphone, and ask them to give a testimonial during your Ustream call. So people love when it's not them in the hot seat talking all about you. And then you really want to make sure that you're winding up in an appropriate way. You don't want to be so far off the track with the Q&A or something else that you're all of a sudden like, so far from selling anything that you don't even know where your mind is. If that's what happens, that's probably okay also. We would just need to do a little bit of work around like what the feedback really was. I actually don't think that would be bad. I don't think it would be bad. I've learned some great things during classes like that. But keep your goal in mind. Tape something up on your computer above your camera and be like, I'm here to help people overcome addiction. I'm here to help people wear warm, cuddly clothes that make them feel safe and secure. I'm here to help people sleep better, whatever that is. And so if all of a sudden you're talking about Bermuda in the middle of, your goal being for people to sleep well and it has nothing to do with sleeping, you don't have to follow where those people lead. You can say, you know what? I love these questions and maybe I'll do another show that's just about Bermuda. But for right now, I'd like to talk a little bit more about sleep. Fabulous. They signed up because they want to be there about sleep. People are not going to be like completely, totally random. So, the other thing that I would mention that's important is, I keep getting caught by those questions over there on the chat. I'm like, what's the question? The question says, should you get a media coach to work with you first? No, just get on Ustream. Do you really need yet another person to be, you could, that's fine, but just get it done. The people out there need you. You're never going to do a Ustream that everyone in the world is going to hate you so much from that no one's ever going to buy from you again. Inaction is deadly. Inaction is deadly. And I keep hearing this a lot, and I think that this is really important. People are really concerned that no one's going to show up. Do you have friends? Do you have family members? You call them and you tell them, I am terrified. I'm going to do my first live web show. Will you please come watch? Here's the other thing. No one knows. There's a little way that you can switch off so no one can see how many viewers are on your Ustream show. It doesn't matter if no one shows up. I've had teleclasses where no one has shown up. Not one person. Not one person. And I didn't do it. And I got to go do something else that I felt like doing. That was fine. I was off the mark. To have to think specifically about what it was, and that would probably be a good learning experience for you all to share what it was. And that's great. You all are saying that you'll show up for each other. Absolutely. Put it up on the page when we're going and what we're doing. Because the greatest thing that can happen, I have plenty of people that I drop whatever I'm doing to watch them on Ustream and say how great they are. Because I feel like that's my social responsibility. There are certain coaches that I've had that I want to hear what they're saying, but I also think they're amazing. And I learn stuff during their class. So show up for each other. Brilliant. I keep saying this, and I will say it until I'm done saying it, that you all together could build each other's businesses way beyond your wildest dreams, and you just don't know it. And part of it is by starting to show up for each other on Ustream calls, masterminding, singing each other's praises. Tomorrow, pick someone in this class. Talk about their product or their service on your page. Just say, I am so in love with this person. They rock. Watch what good comes to you. May not even come, probably won't come from that person. Somebody's going to send you a check for a huge amount of money. Something brilliant's going to happen. Like you'll get flowers that you weren't expecting. It just is the nature of the world. So, we're at 6:01. I hate ending this class. I'm going to go exercise because my exercise coach wants me to do that and I didn't get it done today. So, that's my... I don't know why you all necessarily need to know that, but I get to say it to you all and then I feel accountability for it. So we are on again next week, Tuesday night, same time, same place, doing another free Q&A. If you have questions, bring them there. Get your Ustreams done. I want you to transform during this process. And it's about action. And it's about not being perfect. It's totally about not being perfect. I'm sitting in front of all of the junk from today's course. I have not made any attempt to put on makeup or get my hair done, which most people would hang me for during the last 3 classes, which I need to up level on. People are saying the class is great. So all you need to do is just think about how you're feeling right now. That's how people are going to feel about you. So that's it. I'm off my soapbox. And I'll see you all on Tuesday. I love the interactions that are happening online on the Ning site. I think it's fabulous. Just start interacting with each other more on social media. Start singing each other's praises. Throw up on the page. I didn't give you homework. Throw up on the page something you want other people to promote this week. Start promoting each other. And I will talk to you all on Tuesday. Okay. Thanks.